Hello everyone, welcome back to my show, The Luke Talks, and I am your host Luke. A Quiet Place 2 is written and directed by John Krasinski. Just like the first movie, it is one of those films that was supposed to come out last year, but then shit happened like COVID and stuff. Now, if you haven't seen the first movie, then I would highly suggest you to first go and watch it because this film picks up exactly where the first movie left off. After the events of the first film, the Abbott family is forced to venture to the outside world, leaving behind the comfort of their home and the sand parks. The family, led by Emily Blunt, soon realize that it's not just the strange creatures that are waiting for them in the outside world. The first Quiet Place was so good that it has set up a bar for high concept horror. So to make a proper sequel to that was a really daunting task, especially if you consider the past records of horror franchises. But this movie was excellent. The first film was very tense and suspenseful. The concept of monsters hunting by sounds is a genius idea for the horror genre. This idea was executed almost perfectly by John Krasinski. The plot is actually pretty simple. Some characters are trying to do something while the other group of characters are trying to do another thing. The movie is entirely about the execution and on-screen tension, and John Krasinski really pulled it off perfectly as one of the best horror sequels in recent history. The performance of the cast is sensational, just like the first time, and you have to particularly point out Cillian Murphy, who had a substantial role in the movie, and just like his other works, he is phenomenal here. The real challenge was the silent communication shown throughout the movie, and the whole cast really steps up to it. This is a masterfully directed movie, and John must have been really happy to have made this without any studio interference, if you know what I mean. Suspense is always at the highest level, and even during the monster scenes, the character is put as the central focus in it. A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2 is going to be one of the greatest 3 hours of suspense horror movies for anyone who wants to watch it for the first time in the future. The opening sequence of the film works perfectly for the audience. It shows the state of mass hysteria that the characters went through that day. It also helps us to connect with the characters of the movie, like Emmett's son is shown here, who is later becomes a very important reason why Emmett does certain things in the movie. A Quiet Place Part 2 left the door wide open for a third and final installment in the series. It ended with a glimmer of hope for humanity, and there's a lot that A Quiet Place Part 3 needs to do in order to completely end the trilogy. The aliens' motivations need to be explained properly. From what we know, these mysterious alien creatures landed on Earth with the intent of wiping out humankind. However, even after 2 movies, the exact reason for their presence on Earth isn't fully understood. The whole of human race needs to band together, and they have got a perfect leader in Regan, Lee's child, who can really take the fight scene against these monsters. In addition to this, Regan's rise will tie back to the first film by giving Lee's heroic sacrifice for his children a greater meaning. If A Quiet Place Part 3 is able to incorporate this idea while also widening its scope and diving into its origins, it could very well emerge as the best film of the trilogy and become a fitting end to the story. So that was the video, guys. Like, share and comment below about how you feel about it. If you are new here, then subscribe to our channel for weekly new content. Peace.